Okay guys, so this is my whole setup right there. I have it in a little corner in my bedroom. As you can see, my bed in the background. As much as I would love a makeup room, we just haven't got the space for it at the moment. So I'll just go through what everything is. So this mirror here I got from Illuminated Mirrors. It's a UK company. Mom and Dad bought it for me for Christmas last year. I had been going on about it quite a bit. I know my mom did have to do a little bit of a phone call over to them because trying to get them to deliver to Ireland from their website was a bit of a hassle. But when she rang, delivery was €10. Their customer service is amazing. The exchange rate isn't particularly great at the moment, so I think the mirror works out at maybe 280, possibly €300 now. But in my opinion, even though it is a big spend, it's worth it. I only have the bulbs at like very, very low because when you have them on real bright with the camera, they just kind of blur. The table is the Ikea Malm table. I think the world and its mother has this table. And underneath I have a little Ikea stool, a Dunn's bin, and this little box here. This is what I use to keep my to review products. I have my handbag on top and a little Urban Decay bag full of packaging that I'm not ready to throw out just yet. The long drawer here is from Ikea, and that's the €100 Alex 9 drawer. I absolutely love it. And on top then I have some lipstick holders, a few perfumes and a few bits and pieces. So I'll take you in a little bit closer to have a look. So on the desk here itself, I have these two little pots here, and they are from Laura Ashley. My aunt bought them for me a couple of Christmases ago, and in there I just keep things like bobbins and bobby clips. I have all my hair brushes, or at least a good few of them here, in a large Ikea plant pot. And then if we go in a little bit closer, focus, I have all my eyeliners here in this smaller Ikea plant pot. Sorry, excuse me, I'm gone out of focus. There we go. Okay, so over on the other side, I'll give you a quick overview. I have a large Ikea plant pot that I use for large makeup brushes. And I have two small ones, one of which I keep my eye brushes in, and one that I keep my lip liners and my eyeliners. No, my lip liners and my eyebrow pencils. I used to have them all in the same pot as the eyeliners, but it got a little bit messy in the morning. Don't know why this is open, but this is a little... This is a little jewellery box I picked up in Ikea, no not Ikea, in TK Maxx one day, and in there I just keep my costume jewellery and a few earrings. So excuse the brushes as they're in need of a bath this evening, but you can kind of see the overview of how I store them there. I am in desperate need of buying a few more and kind of sorting through my brushes because there's just far too many in there, as you can see. Okay, and then here I have got the number 7 mirror that lights up. I find it's absolutely brilliant for when you're doing detailed eye work. These are always on offer in Boots, and you get them at really good price, maybe €30 or something. On top here, this little hairband with the ears is what I actually use to push back my hair when I put my makeup on. And you'll have to excuse a little bit of St. Anthony there, but me and St. Anthony go a long way because I'm forever losing stuff, and I do say a little prayer to help me find it, and I have to be honest, he hasn't let me down yet. Okay, so on into the actual drawers themselves. I'll give you a quick overview of how I store everything. I have got 3 dividers in this drawer that I got in Ikea. I can't remember the name of them. I think they're like the Heinrich or something. But I've been led to believe that they don't actually stock these anymore. I did buy 3 of them, and as you can see from this one here, I chopped the end of it. Me and a saw became friends very quickly, and I learned that I cannot cut in straight lines. But that was just so that I could fit more in. I wish Ikea would actually design something that fits into this desk, because it would just make things so much better. And if you can see here, oh, it's not going to pick it up, there's a good bit of space at the back because the drawer actually doesn't come out fully. Anyway, let's go into each individual section. Okay, so in this drawer here, this is where I keep the things that I am just currently trialing at the moment. So for example, I have an Urban Decay eyeshadow, focus, in the colour Fireball. I have another one in the colour Sideline. I have a few bits from Butter London. And then back here then, this is where I keep all of my Inglot gel liner, my Makeup Geek pigments and my MAC pigments. I also have in there one of my, it should be in here, my Inglot Duraline. For those of you that haven't heard of Inglot Duraline, this is a magic product. Basically, it comes with a little dropper on it. And what I use it for is I use it to make my gel liner that little bit more liquidy. And also when I am putting on eyeshadow underneath the eye, I place a little bit of this on the brush and it makes the shadow under the eye last much, much longer. So everybody needs that. It's only a tenner. So in here, this is where I keep my concealers and highlighters. There is actually 2 of the Urban Decay Revolution high colour lip glosses in here because I'm trialing them at the moment and they didn't fit in this drawer over here. Really, really like these. I have a review coming up either just before I post this video or just after. So in here, okay, so in here is where I keep my actual concealers. This is the concealers that I use for under eye concealing rather than just highlighting. Like some, one of my favourites is the Naked Skin. I have my one I can't live without this. This is the MAC Pro Longwear, and I have a few other bits and pieces in there, as well as my Talgo Under Eye Collagen Eye Roll On. It's great for taking the puffiness of your eyes down. And then at the back here, this is where I keep more of my highlighters. I keep 2 of my Maybelline under eye erasers because I use these absolutely every single day. I have some of my Duo Glue, and then I have some like eyeshadow primers and things. So moving on to the next part of the drawer, and this is where I keep all of my MAC paint pots and then my kind of cream eyeshadows and that. I have all of my paint pots in here, some of my favourites. They look actually manky on this camera, so excuse me, but you know, when you're putting makeup on, your stuff does get a little bit dirty. Some of my favourites including, what's this one, is Constructivist. I love this for smoky eye. We have got Bare Study. Oh, my much loved Painterly paint pot. Use that every single day. And on top of that, I have things like some Chanel cream eyeshadows, and I'm not going to go through all of them because there's so many in there and this video will be forever long. Okay, over here then, this is where I keep my bronzers and highlighters. I have like my Inglot bronzer. There is a random NARS what you call that thing? Oh my god, I'm going brain dead. NARS blusher in here. This one is in Deep Throat. And then I have my NARS Laguna, the Balm, Bahama Mama, and then my absolute favourite, and I've reviewed this already on the blog, it's MAC Give Me Sun. I adore this. I think this is just a perfect bronzer slash contouring product. Then I have a lot of my highlighters, not all of them. There is one of the Becca ones. I've got MAC Soft and Gentle. This is absolutely ready for the bin because I've used it that much. There's practically nothing of it left, so I think I need to buy a new one of those. I have my favourite Mary Luminizer, and then the Inglot Shimmering Dust. If you are a fan of an intense highlighter, then you are going to love that, but it is full on. I warn you, it's not going to fit back in. Okay, and then at the back there, I'm not going to go through all of them, but that is my mascaras. I know, like there's so many of them because I'm trialing loads of different ones. I have a few MAC ones in there, and I also have a lip plumper from Physicians Formula and a few other bits and pieces. Okay, so the next part here is where I keep my primers. I have 2 on the go because when it comes to primers, I have to be honest, I don't think much can beat Smashbox. I had the Smashbox Photo Finish primer, the original one. I think that's absolutely brilliant. And then one I'm really liking at the moment is the pore minimizing one. I've been putting it on just around my T-zone because my pores have decided to want to show off and be really big. And this is doing a pretty good job in minimizing them for me. Then, so in here I have my Youngblood setting powder, excuse the dirt of it, and then I have 2 of my Hourglass ambient lighting powders. I just adore these and can't live without them. I've hit pan on them and I have to say, a little bit devastated. I need to buy a few more again. I think I'm going to go for Ethereal Light this time. Okay, so in this part here is where I keep my MAC blushers. I have a few here. I'll just take a random one out. I think this is MAC Margin. This is one of my absolute favourites. Actually, it's Spring Sheen. I lie. Not so fond of this one. I have a few of my MAC blushers and I keep my MAC Pro Longwear eyeshadow that I have here. I haven't depotted it. This is uninterrupted. I mentioned this recently in my March favourites. This, although it looks kind of mucky, kind of geeky in the pan, this is such a gorgeous colour on the eye, and it is a really, really good colour for as a transition colour. Then at the back there is just where I keep a few bits and pieces that I use regularly. Like I have Rescue Remedy. If you're planning a wedding, you absolutely need this in your life. This is, you can get it in spray, chewing gum, droplet format. It's just takes the kind of the tightness of your chest away when you're a little bit stressed, and I find it really good. And I keep some of my Braces wax in there as well. Okay, so in here is where I keep my blushers. I have a few in here. I have one from Youngblood. I have some of the new Urban Decay ones here. Can we just take a moment to appreciate just how absolutely stunningly gorgeous the new packaging is? These are available from the 1st of May. This is the colour Kinky. Have to say, I really quite like this one. Although it doesn't look like much in the pan, it is gorgeous on. Some of the brighter colours, you can see I swatched one of them here already. This is the colour, it's not picking it up. This is the colour Bittersweet. I have to say, I will probably use these more as eyeshadows rather than blushes, because I can't really imagine putting that on my cheek, to be fair. You'd want to be quite dark to be able to carry that off. I've some eyeshadow quads. This is one from Youngblood. I really, really like this. This colour here in particular is called, oops, there I am. This colour here in particular is called Can Can. Why won't you focus? And this is so gorgeous on the eyes for summer. I have my Charlotte Tilbury Vintage Vamp palette. I take this out every so often because I just do love it. And I have a few other random ones in here. Then at the back, I have a few more palettes. I have my Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette. I still have a good bit left on this because I only use this one when I'm travelling, because it just means I don't have to take the others with me. The W7 Bronze and Glow. I do quite like the contouring powder in that. The highlighter not so much. And I have a few other bits and pieces like my Urban Decay Basics, Naked Basics 2 palette. I use this for work. And a few other bits and pieces in there. Then if we move over here, this is where I keep the foundations that I'm using at the moment. So for example, I have one, this is kind of just a daytime one that I throw on when I'm not wanting anything too heavy. I keep my moisturizer. I love this. This is my second bottle of this. I really, really love the cream face. It makes your skin really, really bright. I have a review on this, which I'll link down below. And then the actual other foundations that I'm using, MAC Pro Longwear, I mean, that will forever be in that drawer because I love it. And this foundation is one that I've fallen in love with and had previously hated at first, and it's Double Wear Light, and I've come to the end of it. I found that if I use it with the Nema round head kabuki brush, the coverage is just gorgeous and perfect for the daytime, so I will be repurchasing this. And in here I also keep my Botanics Radiance Balm. If you haven't bought this, then shame on you. You need this in your life. It is fantastic for brightening up your skin. And then last but not least, this is where I keep my inhalers because I am asthmatic. So I take my inhalers here morning and night, and I have a few, like a steroid spray for my hay fever during the summer. Then along the side here, this is just bits and pieces, ignore that, is where I keep my, oh, why is that on that? But this is where I keep my Soleil Tan de Chanel. I think nearly the world and its mother has this in their life, but it's such a good bronzer for summertime. But really, really love that. So I'm going to move on to the top part of my Alex drawers, and this is where I keep all of my lipsticks. I'm not going to go through everything because I have to say this is the second time I've recorded this video, and the first time I recorded it was 45 minutes long. I mean, nobody wants to watch 45 minutes worth of looking at makeup. So I keep all my MAC ones just here, Inglot, all my NYX ones here, and then I've got a few of the NYX matte ones at the back. Hopefully it'll pick up on them there now. Do you know what? I'm going to take you off the camera stand for a second and bring it in a little bit closer. Just 1 second. Okay, so here we go. This is the lipstick stand. The holders came from eBay. I got two, I'm going to say, for €3. I'll try and find the seller and link them down below, but I find them so handy for just storing all my lipsticks. I aren't particularly fussy in how I store my lipsticks, but I do try and keep the same brands in together as best I can. There's a few missing at the moment. At the back then, this little glass holder is just where I keep my sports watch. Don't know why I have this. but I bought it in TK Maxx one time. And at the back, it's not going to show there, but I have got these like book things that you buy in Dunn's, and in there I just keep my important documents. And I have a few perfumes just stored up here. These are the ones I use most often. Okay, so I'm going to take you right into the drawers themselves. So this is the palette drawer. This is where I store all of my eyeshadow palettes. I have quite a few. I'm going to go quickly through what I have and how I store them. This particular thing here, this palette is from Makeup Forever. This is their magnetic palette. This is my absolute lifesaver because I have so many eyeshadows. I tend to buy my MAC eyeshadows in pan form because it's cheaper. I think it's $12.50 in pan form, where it's like, I'm going to say $16.50 when you buy them in the actual container themselves. This is quite a tin palette, and I think it costs $14.50. But when you look at the amount of eyeshadows it stores, I have got a couple of my MAC eyeshadows in here and a few of my Inglot ones. This palette actually stores, I think, 45 MAC eyeshadows, and then it would store quite a few Inglot shadows. So this is absolutely brilliant, and it's easy to bring away with you because it is quite thin. Now, I'm not going to bring that on a Ryanair flight, but if I'm going down the country, this boy comes with me. I have my Lorac Pro Palette, not so fond of that. The Too Faced Chocolate Bar Palette, I absolutely adore this. This just brings my life happiness because it smells like chocolate. And let's call a spade a spade. If I can't eat it, I want to be able to smell it. I love this. I'm not a massive fan of pre-made palettes, but this one I absolutely adore, and it gets quite a lot of use. This is my most used eyeshadow palette. This is an old MAC one, and in it I keep all of my MAC and Makeup Geek eyeshadows, and these are the ones that I use the absolute most. The only thing I don't like about this palette is it gets really, really dirty, so it would be great if I had found some way of keeping my stuffs clean. 7 palettes, I'm not a massive fan of these, but I keep it there in case I ever need to do a review post. And then I have the I have the Smashbox Double Exposure palette. I have seen people rave about this. I am not a massive fan. I haven't made my mind up on it yet. That's why I haven't put up a review. The colours, while they do look quite warm, they just look a little bit muddy on the eye. So I'm not a lover of them. At the back here, I've got some Makeup Geek eyeshadows that I'm waiting to buy another Makeup Forever palette for. There's the Fuchsia Pro palette again. This is one of these things I got gifted. I'm not a massive fan of them. While the colours are lovely and they go on well at first, they do not wear well throughout the day. And then a few more loose MAC ones. I have a sleek one. What's that one? Oh, the Naked. I mean, everybody has a little bit of nakedness in their life. And then I have got some Inglot eyeshadows. I do quite like Inglot eyeshadows, but I don't use these that much because of how they are stored. So I need to get more of another one of the Makeup Forever palettes. And then back here is an old Smashbox palette that I just don't really use, but I haven't got the heart to throw out. So in the second drawer now, I'm going to show you just why I am so bad at DIY. In here, I have used some sort of divider to try and divide them out. Basically, Aisling from Total Makeup Addict recently put up a post about how she made her own dividers using foam board. So I was like, oh yeah, I can totally do that. Yeah, no, I can't. I am crap at DIY. Like, I'm so bad. Basically, these are meant to be flushed. They're just, look, they do for the moment until I find some better dividers, or I can persuade himself to do it for me. So in here is where I keep, let me take you in a little bit lower. Okay, so in here is where I keep some smaller eyeshadow palettes. You can begin to see a trend here that I have a problem when it comes to eye products. I have the likes of the Nyx Smokey Eye Palette. I actually quite like this one. This is the warm smoky eye palette, or the broad smoky eye palette. I have some loose eyeshadows. This is a Me one. And Laura Mercier, what was this? A cake liner. I was sold this promising that this will be better than a gel eyeliner. It's way too messy because you have to wet it with water beforehand. And I mean, just who has time for that in the morning? And I have a few MAC ones. Then over here is, again, I have some smaller eyeshadow palettes. I have some from the Body Shop. One of the old MAC ones. I got one Christmas. This contains Satin Taupe. This has seen better days. And then I don't really use a lot of what's in here, but it's the likes of I have an old Chanel one, and I just don't have the heart to throw it out, because I mean, seriously, who throws out Chanel? But look at those colours, they're gick. I would never wear those again. What was I even thinking buying them? This was in the days before, I'm actually going to say this was 2009, in the days before I got into makeup, and the sales assistant saw me coming because she sold me so much makeup. It was unbelievable. I have an Isadora one. This is actually quite like the Naked Basics palette, and it wears quite well. My one broke in the post, but it is a pretty good palette there. And a few of my Wet n Wild. If you haven't tried Wet n Wild eyeshadows, they are fantabuloso. And then in the last little pocket here, I've still more eyeshadows. I have some Bare Minerals, a few Rimmel loose ones. This is not focusing for me, and a few other bits and pieces. Then in the middle part of the drawer here, focus, is where I keep lip products. Here is the liquid lipsticks. I have some of the Rimmel Apocalypse. They were out a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, but these are brilliant. They last quite well. I have a few of them in different colours. I actually think, if I think back to it, this is the start of my makeup problem, because I went and I bought them in nearly all the colours. In here is where I keep lip glosses. I have a few butter glosses. That lip voltage that is waiting to be reviewed. Holy mother. I put this on my lips, not realising like the story behind it, and I nearly died with the pain. It is excruciating. I would sooner punch myself in the lip to get big lips than put this back on, because it is so sore. And then I have a few of the lip pencils and things like that, the big ones. And then at the back, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, focus, is some nail varnishes. I'm not a massive nail varnish person, so this is just a few that I keep. I tend to give them away once I've reviewed them. Third drawer. So this drawer is where I keep like blushes and bronzers and bits and pieces that I am not using. Again, I set this up using the foam board the way Ashley from Total Makeup Addict did it. Well, kind of like hers. Mine needs to be a little bit flushed. So in here I keep bronzers. I have a few bits and pieces. These are ones that I would use every so often, or I keep them there in case of review. In here, I'm not actually too sure. I have my Bobbi Brown Shimmer Brick, HD Brow Palette, HD Brow Bronzer, and a few other little bits and pieces. Oh, while that's in my hand, this is not a dupe for MAC Give Me Sun. Yes, it is the same colour, but it 100% does not perform that same way. There's a reason like you don't pay $1.49 for makeup. Anyway, I'm going to be unpopular for saying that. I have a sleek palette that's too dark for me. And then in here, I have all my NYX blushers. One from Physicians Formula, another Smashbox one, and a few bits and pieces just in there. So if we move back here, I hope the light is picking it up. This is where I keep all of my sleek blushes. And I have got some Body Shop, quite like that shimmer one from the Body Shop, and an Inglot one that, I mean, what in God's great art possessed me to buy that colour? Where did I think I was going? I'd look like Aunt Sally if I put that on my cheeks. In here is large bronzers that I actually do use every day, but they just don't fit in my main drawer. So the Wet n Wild's Ticket to Brazil. There's an Isadora bronzer that is quite nice, and then there's an Isadora face sculptor that I quite like too. And then in this part here, focus, these are just bits that I don't actually use that often, but I haven't got the heart to throw out. And there's an old MAC limited edition blusher, a Young Blood concealer that I haven't actually used yet, and then some of the Isadora concealers. And then at the very back here, this is where I keep the likes of my eyeshadow pencils. I have spare eyeliners in here, and then at the back here is spare mascaras. Because, yeah, I don't think I have enough mascaras really. What do you think? In my fourth drawer, there is loose bits and pieces. This is kind of the odds and ends drawer. And actually, now that I look at it, it's more bloody eyeshadows. So in here, this is where I keep, this is more of my Christmassy drawer. And I say Christmassy drawer because it is full of glitters and bits and pieces. Like this it's looking quite bronzy here, but this is quite a gold glitter from MAC. And I love this at Christmas time. There's black glitter. Never actually use that because, I mean, no, I'm not high fashion. Definitely not. And there is a bronze one, as well as some kind of random pigmenty glittery bits in there. In here is where I keep single eyeshadows that I'm not actually using day to day, but I might pick up every so often. There is a few from the Body Shop. I quite like those. I have the Colour Crush ones. I have a review on them up on the blog. I have an old Chanel one. Again, this is not going on my eyes because I'd say it is riddled with bacteria. But who the hell throws out Chanel? I loved this. That was the same time that that sales assistant made about €200 off me, selling me stuff I didn't actually need. I have a few kind of random ones in here. Push Cosmetics. I'm not going to go through them all. And then in here, I keep some of my liquid highlighters. There is the number 7 Skin Illuminator, a spare Botanics one, and another one from Me. So here, we've got more pigments and glitters. In here is where I keep my eyeshadow or my foundation samples. And then in here is some more butter glosses. And then at the very back, I wear contact lenses. So I keep my left contact lens here. And then my right contact lens over here so that I don't mix them up. And then I have all of my, one fell out the back, sorry, lost my train of thought. All of my eyelashes. Okay, so this drawer here, whoops, they should not be in there. And there's the one that fell down the back. This drawer here is my foundation drawer. Now, before you think I have a problem. Okay, wait, I do have a problem. But before you think I've lost my mind, there is a couple of the same foundations in here, just different shades, because you actually do need different shades. So, for example, I've got a spare NC30 of my Pro Longwear. I have a NARS one, a couple of MACs in there, a couple of Giorgio Armani, take that out of there. Double wear, the Youngblood one, there's a Chanel Illuminator, there's the Perfectionist Chanel foundation. Oh yeah, there's just a few in there, and then a few samples as well as my MAC Fix Plus and the one I took out there, well as the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I have got a review up on this. I like it as a spray to finish my makeup, don't like it as a primer. And yeah, just a few bits and pieces in that one. So you can kind of get a look yourself. You'll have to excuse the noise of the camera focusing, but I had no other way of doing it. So you'll just have to put up with it. Anyway, the next drawer I'm not going to open because it is a tip. Like, it is bad. So then we go into this drawer, and this is my skincare drawer. As you can see, oh, whoops, random fake tan in there. As you can see, there is no rhyme or reason to my skincare drawer because I just have so much skincare. It is ridiculous. I'm after picking this one up because I wanted to see it. These are the Wax Spirits Wonder Pads, and these are just unbelievably, fabulously amazing. Basically, they are used for after waxing to stop ingrown hairs and things like that. But due to the ingredients such as salicylic acid in them, they're fantastic for killing off spots and for taking down open pores and things like that. I rub them on my face only when I'm kind of having problems, but I rub them in the areas that I'm having problems and it will kill off a spot. I have spare ones in there too. I have a bit from Image Skincare that I'm looking to try out. So that is my very messy skincare drawer. So this is my tan drawer and some of my hair products drawer. Again, there is no rhyme nor reason to this drawer. It is just a mess. But then how am I meant to keep all of these things neatly? One of my new purchases, you can see there. Do you see that? Koko Labs dry shampoo. It's bloody brilliant. I know your one, Ruth Crilly, model recommends. She's another blogger. She actually is worked on this one and it is pretty good as far as dry shampoos go. I have the Crazy Angel tan in there. There's so much cocoa brown. And then this thing here. Do you see that? The L'Oreal Texture Spray. If you are somebody who suffers with kind of flat hair, you need this in your life because it gives you great kind of volume and texture. I have 2 bottles of it in there and I've lost count of the amount of times or amount of bottles I have gone through of this stuff. Okay, and then I'll move you on to my last drawer. And this isn't a very fancy drawer, but this is my hair tools drawer. So I have my GHD Air hairdryer, my Diva Pro wand, and then there's a few other bits and pieces in there as well. So that is just a very, very quick rundown of how I store my makeup. I hope I've got through that quick enough, because I mentioned before, the first time I videoed this, it was like 45 minutes long. Nobody wants to watch something that long. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments box down below. And I would love if you guys could subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Okay guys, talk to you soon.